And instead of trying to transform it, we need to integrate our aggression and frustration into a socially accepted manner that enables us to utilize it in a means that befits our circumstances. And that's the name of the game, especially for an addict, and we find ourselves seeking that pleasure and beginning to reinforce our doubts, our fears, our pains with those ever evading pleasures, right? Maybe we seek pleasure for the very fact that we want to feel good. Maybe we seek pleasure for the fact that we've lost other pleasures in our life. But for whatever reason, the addict is a pleasure junkie. And that's life, man, where everybody wants to overcome that numbing feeling of darkness and sadness with some sort of happiness, some sort of pleasure. And there's no heart in this world. There's no household in this society that has not felt the sting and the overcasting gloom of death or loss or pain. So it's not an excuse. Everybody experiences those things, but not everybody becomes an addict. Not everybody becomes a slave to the pleasure-seeking thrills that most of us addicts encounter. So here's the deal as addicts. We are slaves, and many times we're slaves to our emotions, and that's what I want to discuss today, is becoming a slave to something that actually should be a servant to us. And many times, as addicts, we don't deal with our emotions in the correct manner. We deal with them in this adolescent fit of rage almost. We don't know how to regulate our emotions. They instead regulate, guide, and mislead and misdirect us. And for the most part, one of those emotions is aggression. And whether we want to admit it or not, addicts are aggressive. We're filled with this rage. We're filled with resentment. We're filled with this overflowing bitterness, for the most part, because we're pissed off at our current position in life. We know that we're better. We know that we have potential, and we're angry that we're in our current position because we feel like we should be somewhere else. And we look at other people's lives and we know that we're more intelligent and we're more skilled and have the ability to at least be where they are, if not above and beyond that. And we get pissed off and we're filled with rage. And they say that for the most part, when you really get into your addiction, your mindset cutoffs at that age. And most of us begin our addiction in that adolescent age where we're young and we don't know how to regulate emotions or our aggression or the frustrations thereof in accordance with life. And so we find ourselves as adult aged, but still having fits of rage and temper tantrums. And as addicts, we'll use that to our advantage to go and get high. I'm pissed off, had a bad day at work. You pissed me off. The boss pissed me off. This pissed me off. And we act out in fits of aggression that will accommodate us in our ability to use and further get us into that depraved sense of addiction. We as addicts know how to manipulate the game, and we use the game of frustration and the unregulated emotions associated with that for reasons to justify our use. Correct me if I'm wrong. We will get frustrated and pissed, and it turns off in this, well, that's a reason to excuse. And it creates this vicious cycle where we're just always looking for reasons to be frustrated so that we can therefore justify our reasons to use and be the asshole addict that society has labeled us, and we are pissed off at and frustrated and aggressive. And here's the deal. Society will teach you that you need to get rid of that aggression. And maybe AA or NA or whatever meetings or fucked up places that you go to will suggest that maybe you need to control your aggression, transform it or eradicate it or whatever it may be. But here's the deal. We are biological creatures created with that skill of aggression. And instead of trying to transform it, we need to integrate our aggression and frustration into a socially accepted manner that enables us to utilize it in a means that befits our circumstances and actually benefits us. You were created to be an aggressive person, and instead of pushing that aside or using it for your addiction, you need to learn how to become good at being aggressive, meaning knowing when to use it, knowing when to refrain from your aggression, and knowing the importance of it and why you have it. You were a person created to use your aggression for your aid and not to imprison you in this addiction or to imprison you in emotions that you don't quite understand. And as addicts, we love to not understand who we truly are. We like to critique and analyze other people and why their situations and actions and circumstances has pushed us into the corner that we're currently in. But we never want to actually take an in-depth look at ourselves. We never want to yield to the self-examination. We fail to actually take an in-depth look at who we are. So we remain in that frustrated, agonizing, gloomy, overcasting, shadowy addiction of that asshole state that we're currently in. If you want to stop being an asshole, and if you want to stop being frustrated in the wrong manner and pissed off and bitter and resentful at everyone else except yourself, then you've got to take that in-depth look. There is a hero within you that is wanting and begging to overcome that asshole side of you. And there's an addict within you, like I'm going to say and repeat this. Everyone's an addict. Everyone has an addictive behavior, whatever it may be. It may be bad things. It may be good things. It may be good things in a bad way, but we all have that addictive personality to connect and attach ourselves to something. And as addicts, for too long, we've attached ourselves to that frustrated, resentful, bitter asshole side of ourselves instead of attaching ourselves to something heroic, something more beneficial. You have this aggressive, frustrated manner. You have emotions. They are there for a reason to guide you into something bigger. They're not to guide you into suffering. They're not to guide you into your addiction. We've got to quit having that I'm an asshole addictive personality or that mindset or that thought or that belief that society and others and even AA or NA or all the other bullshits that would try to help you would push upon you. You are not an addict asshole for life. You are an addict that needs to attach himself to something bigger. And when we begin to regulate the frustrations, the bitterness, the letdowns, the pains of life, and quit looking for pleasures to fix that and start looking for ourselves to fix that, and pleasures will come, pleasures will go, but we rely on self, not the pleasures, then we come one step closer to escaping the addictive asshole that we have become. Pleasures come and go. Pain comes and go. But what's rightfully yours and what will rightfully last is your ability to attach yourself to something bigger than that addictive asshole. We've got to begin to attach ourselves to something, that addictive hero, where we're taking steps each day to become a better person. How can I utilize my frustrations and this aggression in a manner that befits me and benefits me so that I can move closer to the heroic side of who I am and remove myself from the asshole that I have always been and that I refuse to remove myself from? And that's the key. The only reason you're an asshole addict is that you refuse to remove yourself from the choices that you're currently making. It is no one else's responsibility. It is yours. If you want to be the hero, and by hero, I mean just being a better fucking person and taking responsibility for your life, and on bad days, at least not making your life worse, and on the good days, maybe putting in a little extra work to make your life and someone else's better. That's the heroic side that you're called to be. To leave this world a better place by at least not making it worse, and on the good days, adding a little more, going the extra mile. Use your frustrations, use your aggression, use your emotions as something that is actually going to move you forward. They're there for a reason. You don't need to transform them or remove them or learn how to overcome them or just forget them. Learn how to be good at being aggressive. Learn how to be good at being emotional and become the hero that you were created to be. You're not an addict asshole, or you don't have to be. You can be addicted to being a hero when doing good things. Change your mindset, change your ways, utilize the skills and the biological traits that have been given you to become an overcomer and become the hero that you need to be, removing the asshole addict personality from your life.